We're sitting in order today.
Oh.
That wasn't planned.
Amazing.
Today, we're at Damo's house.
Yeah, he's got a lovely painting, doesn't he?
It's a lovely table.
Lovely table.
It's a lovely house.
Oh, stop, he's a lovely man. Alright. What's today, Matt?
Today is National Cocoa Day. So, I didn't bring chocolate, which is disappointing, I know. But I've
How
got a
did you not
quiz.
think of bringing chocolate, or did you deliberately not bring chocolate?
I just didn't think of bringing chocolate. I was thinking cocoa powder, so somehow my brain didn't link. But
Oh, well.
What a disappointment.
okay, so I've got a little quiz for us, boys. 3 questions. Whoever gets the most right wins. And
Wait, what do we win?
one of these, a podcast privilege,
Hey.
So podcast privileges, for those of you who haven't been following us for very long,
is what you get when you win. We don't know what else it does.
we're still to
Magical
figure out
powers.
exactly what a podcast privilege is, but this is the thing
Yeah.
to tell you you've got one.
And I made them myself. That's why they're so good. Okay, here we go.
Good quality.
Okay, true or false? The soil influences the flavour of a cocoa bean.
True.
True, yeah.
Yeah, you got it right.
Hey.
Okay.
I would be very surprised if you found a fact on the internet that said the soils does not affect the flavour of a cocoa bean.
Okay. 300 beans make 1 kilogram of chocolate. True or false?
False.
300 beans. How's that one do?
Sounds like not very many.
I'm saying false.
False.
True.
It's false.
Hey.
It takes 1,000 beans
1,000 beans.
to make
Wow.
a kilo of chocolate.
That's quite a
Okay,
few
so you
beans.
guys are both on 1
How
point.
much is a kilo of chocolate, though?
I'll just keep going through these facts until we've got a winner, okay?
Hey, when do we have a winner? When one person pulls ahead.
That's true. I'll do it at least 3. So we've done 2.
No,
haven't
but 2 people have pulled ahead right now.
we? So Tom's winning at the moment. Tom's on 2 points, Damo's on 1, Jackson.
No, Damo's on 1, isn't he?
That's what I
No,
said.
Damo's
Only
on
the
2,
best
I'm on
few,
1.
ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, next one.
Make it up as you go along,
I
Matt.
thought I was on 2.
That's the way.
Because me and Tom got 2
Yeah.
and then Jack got 1.
2,
Yep,
2,
alright, let's
1.
go.
Yep, okay, so... true or false? Brazil is the largest producer of cocoa.
True.
True.
False.
False, that's right.
Hey!
West Africa produces 70% of the world's cocoa.
There you go.
Okay, so who we got? Damo's winning.
3.
Damo's
2,
winning on
1.
3.
3, 2, 1.
Alright, how about you got to win by 2?
One more.
Let's go.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, that could go on forever.
Advantage, Damo.
One more question.
Okay, true or false? Amsterdam is the world's largest cocoa port. Like the most exchange happens there.
True.
False.
True.
It's true.
Okay, so now it's...
3-1.
Yeah,
We're
3,
still
3, 1.
going. Okay.
Lucky you've got lots of facts there.
Some of these facts aren't so good.
Give us a bad fact.
This is a bad fact. Okay.
Give us a bad fact.
True or... sorry, guys.
This is all falling to bits.
True. Okay, true or false? Cocoa trees need to be protected from sunlight by bigger trees.
Ooh, false.
True.
True.
It's true. So
Oh.
is
Right,
Tom
so-
winning now?
I'm winning now.
4, 3, 3.
One more question. And Tom will get
Advantage, Tom.
Will I get it?
it. Okay. True or false? Cocoa trees need to be planted inside tropical zones.
True.
False.
I'd say.
False.
It's true.
Oh, no.
I think we did
One more.
well.
One more.
Wait, so
One
4, 3, 4.
Okay,
Alright.
whoever gets this
If
one.
Jack wins this one, no one wins. Otherwise, someone wins. Let's go.
Okay, there's no facts. Then,
Give us one of the stupid facts. Go.
okay. Australia is the world's largest chocolate consumer. True or false?
False.
False.
True.
That's false.
No, okay, Tom wins then.
The UK is the world's largest chocolate producer.
Yes.
Good
That
job,
makes
Tom.
sense.
Congratulations.
High five.
I will now
Thank you, sir.
ceremoniously.
Elbow. Or over the microphone.
I will ceremoniously bonk you on the head with the podcast privilege.
Dong.
Hear that, bloke.
Congratulations, Tom. Great
Our
work.
video listeners can see, video watchers, listeners, viewers. You actually don't fit over your head. So I'm just
It kind of hangs on like a
He looks-
hairline necklace.
He looks like the princess out of Neverending Story, if anyone's seen it.
I've got PP on my head.
PP. Yeah.
A slightly doubtful acronym.
Check out our Instagram for what it looks like.
Yeah.
And boys, I was driving through a town the other day.
A town.
Yeah. And I saw at a BP petrol station David Jones food.
Yes, I saw that
Replacing
too.
the Wild Bean Cafe. David, so is that like a sausage roll in a really nice suit, or like an egg and lettuce sandwich with really good makeup or something? Like,
I have seen these. In some David Jones stores, they've tried to push food. They might be running out of business, I'm not sure. But I have seen them. So I don't know whether they're just branching out to BPs because it may not be working in stores. I don't know. But yeah, that's
they're-
an
So
interesting-
are they trying to sell
Their
food
custard tarts
in
have
their
very-
stores there?
They are, yeah.
Their custard tarts have very good cologne.
yeah, it's,
Chanel number 5.
I wonder if they'll be like Maya food. And like,
yeah. Suddenly everyone will feel the need to. It's so
and
weird
then they'll
though.
be like,
It's
the cheaper option, Kmart food, Target food.
Hello everyone and welcome back to For the Record. This week we are reviewing Noiseworks by Noiseworks.
self-titled album.
Yes. Usually we just like, because the idea for the record is we're reviewing vinyl records because it's just kind of cool. But today we actually have it in person because we're at Damo's house. So
Yeah.
for all of you video people, you can see the record. For all of you non-video people, maybe Damo can like tap the record on the microphone or something and you can like... There it is. There it is.
Sounds very
The
nice.
physicality
It's a
of it.
very
and
nice
we
sounding
saw the
record.
vinyl archives.
Yes,
In real life.
they did. I took them down the spiral staircase in my basement. We don't have a basement. I took them through the safe door. We don't have a safe door. And I took the key card to the thing, swiped it, and I showed them a section of it. Not
Yeah,
all
just-
although
Just
the security guards did look like they weren't going to let us through.
Yeah, for a second.
Yeah,
there.
Well,
I was a
to
bit
tell you
We
worried.
had Damo with us and he slipped them a 50 in.
Yeah, I did. To tell you the truth, I did slip them maybe a couple 50s. So, for those of you who don't know how this segment works, we basically go to the vinyl archives. I pick out a record for the week. The boys go listen to it, and we all give our thoughts.
We
on
do.
what we thought. And boys, chef's kiss to this album. And if you don't know what a chef kiss is,
Amazing.
this record. I mean, I looked at this and thought, oh, 80s, you know, gonna be synth, gonna be reverb, gonna be all that jazz.
It was the best.
It's a good album.
It's solid.
It's a truly classic, solid...
Australian
It's-
80s album.
First of all, you can definitely tell that this comes from Australia. I don't know what it is. It just sounds like, you know, your In Excesses. Not that it's generic. I'm just saying that it's
Just sort of stylistic. It's
Yeah.
almost got a little bit of that sort of pub band influence and just like...
Yeah.
Exactly.
That pub
Exactly.
band influence, which is what we always like to talk about.
Cold Chisel and
Yeah.
all those.
In Excess.
'Cause that's how they
and,
started.
Men at
Yeah.
Work to a
Yeah.
certain extent.
Interestingly, Noiseworks, they made 3 albums. Their first album was a huge hit. The second album was okay. It was like a good album, well received, but it wasn't ever a hit. The third album was a little bit better, but their first one was the only one that ever really was
Gee.
big.
That's
So,
crazy. This is their
really
first one.
interesting.
Yes,
First
and it's not
It's
hard to
incredible.
see why this took off because I mean, looking at the track listing here, there's not a bad song on here. Not even a dull track on here. I
Yeah.
don't think. Obviously, "Take Me Back" is probably the most well-known track on this album. If you haven't heard this song, what's wrong with you? Also, the one track that I thought, oh yeah, I know that song, because you know when you hear stuff on the radio and you're
Yeah.
like, what's
Yeah.
the name of that song? And then you hear it like ages later. That's not a great sentence. But Welcome to the World. I had
Yeah.
no idea that Noiseworks did that.
Yeah.
Now I do. So, and it's a really good song as well. What did you guys think of the production?
I liked it. Usually they dull the vocals too much in old music like
Yeah.
that, but it
It's
was really
good
good.
like this,
He's
yeah.
got a really strong voice and they exhibited it well.
The only problem I had with the production was I wasn't a fan of 2 things. I didn't like their drum machine.
I don't think it was a drum
I felt
machine. I think it was an
bored.
electronic drum kit for like
Okay.
with the thin pads rather than
Yeah,
the
okay.
full-on toms and the. I
Um,
did notice.
I didn't
that as
like
well.
that. Mainly, I didn't like. This is a bit sort of nerdy. I didn't like their snare sound.
Yeah, well,
the snare sound was the best.
The snare sound
That's
is all the way through the album, and it's this like
I
just
liked
like
it.
cheesy.
It's the classic 80s. That's amazing. I love
Music is subjective.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
weren't-
What did you just say, Jack?
Well, no, it's a cool thing that Tom actually mentioned the snare, because in my opinion, I think the snare can either make or break a drum sound, because it's a lot more prominent than the rest of the parts of a drum. Like the bass drum, obviously, is the thing holding it together. But I feel,
But they're all kind of the same, and the hi-hat is just like a hit thing, and cymbals are hit things as well. But the snare is
Here's another
It's
hit
the
thing,
thing
but
that
it's a more
punches
important hit
through.
thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did notice that the drum sound on
The
here was
other
a
thing I
little
wasn't
bit
so keen on was just some of their synth sounds, but that's just because I'm used to modern synth sounds, which are much clearer and sort of got nicer reverb and stuff.
was
But
very-
that's just the technology.
It was
at the
very,
time.
and I'm not.
So if they'd been producing this album now with a modern, like high fidelity snare sound,
Then
nice
Tom would be happy,
synth-
but it
synth-
takes a
synth,
lot to
then
make
this would be
Tom
like-
happy.
wow. Whoa.
Beef.
But as far as the actual, like obviously that's just two tiny things. That was just me getting the bad stuff out of the way before we rave about this for the next 2 hours.
But it's funny, and I don't want to double down on the synth sound, but it did sound a bit, if I can use a phrase, farty. it sounded like, you know when synths sound
I
like...
did not pick this up at all.
You know when
I know what you mean.
synths sound like trumpets? Like they tried
Yeah,
to
yeah.
sound like trumpets?
Oh, actually, yeah, that's that was the specific one I didn't like. The trumpet sounds on, which one was it?
No Lies?
There's an awesome track that would be absolutely epic if it had real brass.
Yeah.
But the synth brass just took a little bit of edge off it. But that is an awesome track, whichever
Yeah.
one that is. I can't remember which one it is.
It might have been No Lies, because I think that
Yeah.
did appear on there. Also,
Or Burning
I think it was later
Feeling.
on in the. I think it was actually later on in the album, like side B.
Right.
might have been. Yeah.
Anyway,
Can I just say, the guitar tone.
the guitar.
It's all like that, isn't it? If there was one
Every
for
good,
the record album,
It's all good.
if there was one for the record album that I would say out of the year, listen to this one, it's definitely this.
I feel like we have said that a few times.
No, this is
No,
it.
this is the one.
Dead set.
Screw your Midnight Oils, screw your Elton Johns.
Listen to Noiseworks.
Noiseworks.
Do yourself a favour. Stuart Fraser on this album rips up a storm on guitar. He is mental.
Which one's he?
The guitarist. I don't. Well, we have no idea.
One of
All
these
I know
fellas.
is that
Chiseled jaw and
John-
mullet has.
Yeah, he's got a chiseled jawline and a mullet, so we call him MJ.
yeah, John Stevens, also known as MJ Mullet and Jaw, as you can see on the.
Yeah.
Great
For those
voice.
of you who are listening on audio, they're like, I can't sing it.
in the wrong
All I can see is a mug with steam coming out. Boys, favourite track.
Love Somebody, number 2. I loved it. Well, yeah, it's just really cool the way it starts, the way it goes, the way it ends. They dial it down and bring it up, and it's good.
I liked the 4th track best, No Lies. It
No
was
Lies.
just all perfect.
Yeah, no lies.
I loved it.
Yeah, No Lies is good. I do feel like... Oh, never mind, sorry.
I really liked Welcome to the World. I actually
Actually, I didn't really like that one. That was one of the only
Bef-
ones
but-
I wasn't so keen on.
before I go, Noiseworks is awesome at openers. The
Yeah.
start of every song is awesome. Like they have really strong openers, not in that they're like in your face, but they're just like solid and
Yeah.
you know what song it is, and it's like.
I mean, they're
awesome.
just good songs, aren't they?
Yeah.
You'd expect,
So-
if that's their first album, you expect them to be filling stadiums around the world by now, but they're not.
So maybe
Well,
they're just-
I think they've made their money's worth.
yeah. But yeah, so anyway, Welcome to the World is a really good song.
Yes.
Has a great opener.
They all
yeah.
do.
And I've had it
That's
stuck in
probably
my
the
head
most-
for the past like 24 hours.
Probably the most ballady of them, would you say? Welcome to the World? Maybe? Maybe not.
Yeah, maybe.
Take Me Back, classic. That's probably my favourite track on there, just because I love the combination of, and I know we kind of fagged the synths a little bit in the snare, but I think it works on that track just for a time capsule of the 80s.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And also
It's an
well written.
80s sound, yeah.
And John Stevens' voice on that track, I think, is probably the best on the album.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
know
got a
about
good
you
voice.
guys,
How's
yeah.
Take Me Back go?
Take me back to you.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
my
no,
terrible singing.
That's
by
my
the way.
favourite track too. I like that one better than Welcome to the World.
But no, I really
And
good stuff.
I think it was.
And by the way, John Stevens' voice is still good. If any of you guys saw Music from the Home Front, he actually sang Never Tear Us Apart with some of the guys from In Excess. He sounded amazing. So hopefully they do
He
a
is a
concert
very
tour or
good
something.
singer.
I think Edge of Darkness sounds a bit Midnight Oilish, and In the Middle, some of the tracks sound a bit U2ish.
But yeah, that's
Yeah,
one thing worth noting.
I mean,
Yeah, Edge of Darkness was a good song.
Actually,
And
Oh,
Only
was it-
Loving You was
was
also
it this
really
one
good.
or another one that I was thinking?
I don't know.
I don't want to speak too soon. I think it might have been this one that you can hear a little bit of. If they had had the technology and knowledge that U2 had with the Edge's loops, guitar loops, they would have been really, really awesome, because there's some things in this album where it's just like this little guitar riff and he plays it and then he plays a different riff. And it's like, but if he'd done a little, like if he'd been able to do a little bit more of like what the Edge did in U2 and just
Which
have
is
that
playing
riff,
something and then
he'd
repeating it.
play a riff and then it would just repeat over and over again with his loop pedal, and then he'd play another one over the top and he'd create these awesome guitar things.
Which is pretty much, U2 fans say he's the reason that U2 made it. So
So yeah, I think if they'd been able to have a bit of that, which they sort of stopped before they could, that would be really cool. And I would also be really interested to hear a band play some of these songs now using
Yeah.
the loop pedal.
yeah.
That would be cool.
But
So boys, out of 10, what do you reckon we'll give it?
9.
9 3/4.
Only not 9.5.
9 3/4 for John Harry Potter.
I didn't even think about that, but as I said it, I was like, platform 9 and 3/4.
9.
I would, easily give it a 9. Just because it's not my favourite music is why I wouldn't give it a 10.
Yeah, same.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm giving this 9.5. This was a really.
Go and listen to it.
Listen to
people.
this
Do
album.
yourself a favour.
Noiseworks.
Everyone
Noiseworks.
point at the camera. Point. Listen.
All right. I think they've understood.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a very good album.
Oh, yeah, they're listening to it. Good job, guys. The other day, while I was drawing or something, I can't remember what I was doing. Oh, I found a what's it called, Diesel and Dust cassette,
Oh yeah, that's right.
which was
Which is
and,
Midnight Oil, by the
and
way.
then I also found a cassette player, and I was listening to it, and it was so cool, and it was like,
It was a little bit stretched. The tape was.
so it was a bit slow, but it was
yeah,
really cool.
It was like finding a
And-
relic.
A relic,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like,
Diesel
if-
Dust's a good album.
it made me want to buy like real music, not just on Spotify or something.
Yeah. There is
Like-
something about having it in the physicals.
I think
Yeah.
that's partially what's so cool about vinyl, because like you've got the actual, like it's an actual the groove,
The thing that
or even
creates the
physical,
music.
It's
Or
like
CDs
it's a
for that
machine
matter.
that
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
Like,
so even CDs.
even
I've got a
like,
few
even-
CDs.
yeah.
They're trying to phase out iTunes.
Yes.
And like even that, I feel like people will always want to have the
I
music.
don't know.
Like in some way.
I feel like
CDs or.
I feel like a lot of people like.
I feel like people don't really care if they own the music they're listening to, but I think people do care about having a physical copy of
Yeah.
things that they really like.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, even if you
Like
always
my
listen to it on
Coldplay
Spotify.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I couldn't really care less whether I own a track that I'm listening to. I mean, obviously, I want to give the artist money for it. I'm not going to just like steal it off the internet. But like, I'm happy to stream it. But there are some albums that I like having a hard copy of, because it's just
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got like Cat Empire CDs and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, if you can't really, it would be cool to like collect lots and then like actually listen to them. But CDs you can't like have in your pocket.
No.
But if
Yeah.
cassettes were more hardy, I'd want to
Yeah,
get
they're
them.
cool. If they
But
can
they
make
kind
it,
of can
if they
get
make it, like,
stretched
you
and
just
they're
slide it
plastic
into a
and-
sleeve and then somehow it goes. It'll be really cool.
But
Yeah,
they're not that. Yeah, they're kind of breakable.
It's funny you say that about iTunes, because I'm a Zoomer, a Generation Z boomer, who
I've never heard that before, but it's fantastic.
But basically, I still buy iTunes cards and I still buy music on the iTunes store for my phone. So I don't have Spotify, I don't have SoundCloud, I don't have Apple Music.
Whatever you kids are doing these
Whatever you
days.
kids are doing these days with your Miley Cyruses and your Cardi B's. No, but basically, I still like to get iTunes cards because I feel like I own it as opposed to like,
Yeah.
oh, I have to pay every month. Oh.
Yeah, and it's also like, because I've got...
Although, David, I think
And
you
you'll-
probably spent more money on vinyl recently than you would spend in a few years.
We'll get to that.
Alrighty.
But yeah, there is something about owning it. Like, I've got Spotify, which I've got heaps of stuff downloaded on, and I've also got albums on iTunes that I own, but it feels different to the same ones I've got downloaded on Spotify. I don't know. It just, it's fun to own it.
Yeah.
And
So
you
go out and own stuff.
I'm not that way so much. I mainly like the sound quality.
I suppose,
So I like having CDs mostly
Yeah.
because they got better sound quality.
Should we start selling our podcast in
on
actual...
vinyl.
If you want to get a cassette tape of our podcast, we will find a way.
Imagine that.
We'll start
Well,
illegally
another listen
burning
of episode
CDs.
The first year of Morning Tea with the Boys in vinyl. We're going to chuck one on.
That would be...
Oh.
I don't know what that would be.
Well, actually, I might butt in here for a second. There's a band called I've forgotten what it's called. Anyway, they released an album, and I don't know whether it was meant to be like a live album or whether it was meant to be a remastered thing of whatever they had released in the past. But it was a vinyl, and it was silent. No tracks. Well, there were tracks, but nothing. And it sold out.
What?
Was it like a plane?
Because it's a collector's item.
Yeah.
Because there are.
Oh, so it wasn't for listening to it all. It was
Well,
just because it
it's
was
more
by them.
because there are.
Was it a mistake or was it like an
No,
artsy
it's
thing?
they did it on purpose.
Yeah, yeah.
They called it a silent release.
Why would you buy a...
Because it's a collector's item. And the band, that
I love
specific
it.
band, is like a very punk
Yeah.
trolling band where it's like they poke fun at a lot of things and
Yeah.
That's
I like
hilarious.
it. That's actually
The silent edition.
I would
The
actually,
silent remix.
that is actually the sort of thing that I would.
Yeah, I would buy that as
Yeah,
well.
It's actually.
it's like, oh my god, that looks cool. What's
And-
on it? Oh, hang on, I'll put it on.
And you can just like spray a bit of water on it before you start listening to it, so you get like the crackles. It's like just
Yeah.
white noise.
One of the week, boys.
Ooh.
One of
Here we go.
the week.
This is the segment where we all choose one thing that has given us value this week, and we talk about it. It can be like a book, or a movie, or a food, or
An item of clothing.
an animal, or a tree that you've been looking at out your window, or
Anything.
anything.
Anything at all.
Maybe
Like a
yeah.
really nice looking crumb that you picked up and ate and it tasted good and it made your week. That could be it.
Okay, Tom, you kick us off, Tom.
Alright, this week I have been, well actually no, for the past few months, I've been making a home climbing wall. It's just like this board with wooden holes that's going to be stuck over it. It's going to be so cool. I've been having so much fun just
Wow.
making odd shaped pieces of wood to hang on to. Yeah.
This
it's
is
really
what
fun.
Tom does.
I'm damaging my fingers.
Yeah, what I was going to say, watch out for splinters. Like,
Yeah,
because
not
he's been using a
splinters. I've
belt-
been using
a belt sander and being
I'm
all whoop.
gradually going through all the skin on my fingers.
So that's why we don't have any band-aids
That's why we
left.
don't have any band-aids left.
I was wondering, because I've got this drip,
Tell you what, I'm
drip
getting
blood.
really good at band-aids. Alright, let's go.
Mine is, I discovered a new podcast, which is, it's called Trapped. It's done by the Australian War Memorial, and it's about these guys who got left at an airbase in Timor, and basically getting hunted by Japanese, and they're trying to get off Timor back to Australia. And it's really cool. There's only 6 episodes, and it's dramatized, and it's super cool special effects and stuff. There is a little bit of violence and stuff, so...
well, it's
for-
war. I mean, you expect it.
Yeah, but it's really
War is
cool,
a
and
violent
it's
thing.
super. it gets you hooked.
Cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll link
So
it.
Trapped by
Check it out.
yeah, just Trapped. It's good.
Nice.
Jack,
Damo, Jack.
Damo.
Alright. Now, a bit of a long one for me because for the past couple of days, because I haven't been able to buy any vinyl.
Hang on, before we start, that's not a one of the week. This is a sum of the week.
Some of the past few weeks. But I've made up for it in bucket loads. Because I've been getting paid, I've got a new job. Spicy. I've been able to afford a lot more vinyl. And I was at JB Hi-Fi and I discovered this one. This is Burn by Deep Purple. And fun fact, if I can pull it out.
Here you go, guys. You're going to see the flesh.
It's orange.
Do you want to pull it out so they can...
Well, hang on, let me just be delicate.
They should
There
do
we
it purple
go.
since they're called purple.
But the album was called
It's
Burn.
gorgeous, isn't it?
True.
It strokes the eyes.
Strokes the eyes.
It is B-E-A beautiful. So I bought this one and I thought the other day, well, you know what? I'm just going to buy more. So I did, and I got another album which we'll get to next episode. Wink.
No, actually, not next episode. Episode after.
Yeah, we've already played the next episode, remember? We're so organised,
I
everybody.
know, but it'll be on the next episode though.
No, wait.
No.
Who cares?
Never mind.
Present
Never mind,
the
don't
record.
I bought another record. It's on the next episode. Shut up, Tom. Okay.
Alright, I'm sorry.
Head injuries. I've been.
Sorry.
I'm
We've
sorry,
lost
Tom.
it again.
Rewind, put it back on the stack.
Apologies, listeners.
Damo. You bought
What's it gonna be?
Quick, go guys, go. We're losing the energy.
Okay. This album I've been looking for a very long time. We've mentioned it a lot.
Yeah.
Midnight
Whenever
Oil,
we talk about Midnight Oil, we talk about this album.
head injuries.
Head injuries.
I'm looking forward to reviewing this and putting it on the podcast, and we can complete the Midnight Oil Trinity.
Is this Midnight Oil's first album? Or just their
Second.
first big
Second.
one?
This might have been the one with their first big hit, but this is their second album.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, I did see this first album actually, but I didn't buy it.
Didn't buy it.
Next up, Judas Priest, Sin After Sin. This is metal, so if you're not into that sort of thing, go home. No.
Well, boys, I guess we're gonna go.
No, yeah, I saw this. It was about $29 as opposed to the usual $40, $30,
Always appealing.
$50 something thing. So I saw the clearance tag. I said, I love it. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And a double feature, the Ramones, because I've been getting into the Ramones this year. They call them dogs. I call them babes.
That reckons they look dorky on the front of that cover. Which podcasters there
Which
are
I'm not going to say anything about.
Cartoons
are
of yes, guys
kids.
with they look
And
silly.
like ripped jeans.
So
But
this is their third album. This is their fourth. Rocket to Russia, which has a lot harsher production, but I think it has I think they have around the same track listing, and there's a bit of a
Cartoon on the back.
cartoon on the back there.
A fella rocketing
like
off
their
to Russia.
cartoons.
Yep.
Yeah, got some people down there.
Yeah.
Fellow nations.
Lots of things going on.
And on the back of this one, just photo.
Just a photo
Oh, yeah.
of fellas.
Photo.
Just a photo.
Dorky
of
fellas.
Next up, a revisit to the Police. For those of you who don't know, we reviewed Synchronicity by the Police. Go check that out.
That was a good album too.
That was their last album. This is their first. So I'm sure we'll review this at some point. Yeah.
Movie, all of
Yep.
these.
Stay tuned.
Good. And finally,
Rolling Stones. Now, I've mentioned Mick Jagger to the boys before and how
Yeah.
he dances around and, you know.
He does this.
Take my body, yes.
He's like,
this again?
he's like Peter Garrett before Peter Garrett, you know what I mean? He's the English version of Peter Garrett, except on more illicit substances. Well, not anymore, of course.
So I would definitely bet that we're going to get to this album. In
Yes.
Of course.
I think this is a definite. Yeah.
And just looking at the track listing, by the way, very exquisite cover there.
Yeah, future.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's,
what
it's
is
called
it?
Let It Bleed,
So
by
it's
the
a
way.
cake
Let It Bleed
and
is the
then
name.
a bike tire, and then a pizza, and then
And
a
then
clock, and then what's that?
That's like
It's like a record.
a tin of like either
Reel?
film
A film
or
reel?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And on the back, it's all broken up.
Ah.
So, and just looking
Oh,
at the
look
track
there.
listing, I'm looking forward to
Tires
it. So-
even bandaged.
Yes,
Yeah.
poor tire.
Wow, it's going to be a good next few
Yes.
months.
Yes.
Of Morning Tea with the Boys with
Yes,
that lot.
and
Yeah.
it all comes out of my wallet. I'm joking. I got paid, so it's fine.
I'm going to be getting some too soon, actually. So
Oh,
we might be.
It's
coming
gonna
out
be
of-
good.
It's going to be good. We're going to get.
We'll
some,
say that much. It's gonna be
It's
good.
going to be good. Right. Yeah. Jack, what's yours?
Now, I've been trying to think of one all through here, but I don't know why I can never think of one when I
I'll
think
give
of
you
so
one,
many
Jack.
during the week. That can't think of one. I finished school yesterday. That could
that's
be it.
good.
Yeah, that's always good because then I can
What do you think you're
play
doing
cricket
next?
and stuff.
Going to work, obviously, and uni for Jack
Not finished school.
for the year is what we should
Cool.
say.
Yes.
Nice. Well, yeah, we're going to be doing lots of vinyl listening, and we're going to be doing lots of podcasting over the summer. All right.
So, stay tuned for that.
As it was previously stated, it's gonna be good.
It's going to be good. And now, the 10 Commandments for every Australian Christmas.
Hello. My name is Father Thomas, and today I will be presenting the 10 Commandments of the Australian Christmas. With us today, we have the Christmas Jester of Explanation. Commandment number 1. Thou shalt eat potato salad.
It's always essential to have at every Australian Christmas.
Commandment number 2. Thou shalt avoid the pork crackling.
May seem good at the time, but once you get cholesterol and die of a heart attack, that's never a good thing.
Commandment number 3. Thou shalt not wear ugly sweaters.
I tell you what, it may seem good in America, but guess what? Over here, it's summer. Nobody likes a sweaty, smelly Christmas.
Commandment number 4. Thou shalt rip some wrapping paper, but thou shalt not rip other wrapping paper.
I don't know what you seem necessary.
Commandment number 5. Thou shalt put said wrapping paper in the bin.
For the parents.
Number 6. Thou shalt keep track of thy plastic cup.
Always make sure to keep it hygienic. You don't want your old grandma sipping on the cup and then you having to get COVID sent to her.
Commandment number 7. Thou shalt play cricket with thy competitive uncles.
Always good to spend time with the family with a good old-fashioned game of cricket. As long as you don't call out and then your uncle hits you over the head with his cricket bat.
Commandment number 8. Thou shalt not leave the Cadbury favourites in the sun.
I tell you what, if there's one thing I hate, it's opening up my favourite bar of Moro and it all falls out over the floor. It's never a good thing, is it? No.
Commandment number 9. Thou shalt forget to bring togs and swim in thy clothes.
Always happens at some stage, so it might as well be a tradition.
Commandment number 10. Thou shalt forget a spare pair of undies and and go commando.
I tell you what, I don't think everyone likes going free bowling or free whatever it would be for the opposite gender, but that's okay. We all do it occasionally.
That was the 10 Commandments of Christmas in Australia. If you want to keep up with Morning Tea with the Boys, please do follow them at all the necessary social media platforms and do please email them with the email below.